Good evening. And welcome to Sparta High School. Here we are, class of 2022. You're looking good. At this time, we would like to honor our country and recognize those students in the class of 2022 who will be joining the armed forces after they finish here this evening. So if you are joining the military after this, will you please stand? You can go ahead and stay standing. Stay standing. If you are an active or retired military member, would you please stand and join them? We want to thank you all for your service. At this time, we will play the national anthem that will be sung by our choir. So our senior choir members, if you would like to come forward. And if everyone else wants to take this opportunity to stand.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Thank you, choir. Trying to stay.
I spread my wings, I gave my all, not knowing if I fly or if I fall. Are you proud of me? I ran the race, I didn't win, but still I found the will to run again. proud of me? As I learn, as I grow, through every high and low, you've always seen my light and brought it out in me. And though I've lost more than I've won, still I try, still I dare, still I run, still I run. Are you proud of me? I shared my heart, I stood up strong. Are you proud of me? I opened up to sing my song. Are you proud of me?
Thank you to Mr. Alonso and our choir for their performance this evening. At this time, I would like to welcome Lindsay Del Castillo, Student Council President, with our welcome.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the commencement exercises for the Sparta High School graduating class of 2022. My name is Lindsay Del Castillo, Student Council President, and I wish to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to be here tonight as we recognize the outstanding accomplishments of our young men, women, and non-binary friends on their graduation night. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce our platform guests. Please remain, please hold your applause until all are announced. First, we have Mr. Andrew Jensen, President of the Board of Education, Mrs. Amanda Van Streen, Vice President of the Board of Education, Mr. Mark Alster, Secretary of the Board of Education, Mrs. Mary Beth Dame, Treasurer of the Board of Education, Mrs. Erin Bormas, Trustee of the Board of Education, Mr. Tim Driscoll, Trustee of the Board of Education, Mrs. Kim Ilusky, Trustee of the Board of Education, and Mr. Doug Klein, guest speaker. Next we have Mrs. Stacy Rumsey, Principal, Mr. Aaron Romoslawski, the Assistant Principal, and Mr. Pete Bush, the Superintendent. Thank you.
We can't leave out Camp Heiss and Clemens, though. So we have our senior class advisors, Ms. Kirsten Clemens and Ms. Allison Camp Heiss. Next, we have a guest speaker this evening. Mr. Doug Klein is going to bless us with some words of wisdom.
Well, good evening. Congratulations, class of 2022. First, I want to recognize with you the incredible opportunity that we all have in this great nation. You have your lives in front of you with an incredible abundance of opportunities waiting for you. There are billions of people around the world who would trade places with you. I'm an immigrant. I chose to live here, and I also want you to be energized by the unique privilege you have to be alive in this era and in this country. This diploma is a ticket to anywhere in your life. I appreciate and admire those of you in your 2022 class who maintained a welcoming atmosphere for students of all backgrounds and abilities. Thank you for taking care of one another during the sometimes rough and rocky 4 years of high school. You worked through some significant disruptions, And the fact that you are here today, about to receive your diploma, shows that you are resilient. Hang on to the attitude you displayed while you were here, one of kindness and tolerance, perseverance, and resiliency. One more thing to ponder before I conclude. Here's a quick challenge for us all to consider. What does it mean to live authentically? In our last unit in English 12, we studied the 2,500-year-old section of Plato's Republic, the allegory of the cave, in which Plato invites us to consider whether what we know and believe is truth. Socrates and Plato asked some questions about a concept we call epistemology. That is the challenging question, what is truth? Do we want to make sure that the things we know and believe are true? One of the final questions Jesus Christ was asked was by Pontius Pilate, who said, "What is truth?" Pontius Pilate did not wait for an answer. So what about that? What is truth? How do we know? If this is the knowledge and beliefs that I have in my brain, and on the other hand, this is what is actually truth, do I want these to overlap in my life? Should I care about that? We can only maintain social cohesion if we agree upon a shared reality. What kind of person am I if my beliefs and truth have no relationship? So that's the challenge for us, coming from 2,500 years ago, and it matters now more than ever in all aspects of life. What should we be comfortable with in our intellectual relationship with truth? I have great respect for your generation, and I have high hopes for your ability to have courage and discernment in your future quest for knowledge and understanding. We need fresh and new energy from your generation who can break us free from our dated obsessions. You learned a lot already, succeeding and making it here despite the deprivations and frustrations of the pandemic. Thank you for being champions of positivity and grace. Thank you for your spirit of kindness and tolerance. Please keep that flame lit and carry on. All the best.
Thank you, Mr. Klein. Next, we have Mr. Aaron Romoslawski, who will be introducing the salutatorian for the class of 2022.
The 2022 salutatorian is Camden Bormas, son of Aaron and Kevin Bormas. Camden's future plans include playing junior hockey for the Norwich Sea Captains in Connecticut, and in the future he plans to study pastoral ministries at Atlanta Bible College. During his time at Sparta High School, Camden was a member of student council for 4 years, serving as an executive officer and vice president. He was a National Honor Society member, serving as vice president there as well. He played varsity hockey, varsity tennis, and was a member of our men's club volleyball team. While doing all of that, he was also active in Young Life and the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Please welcome Camden Bormas.
Well, we made it. 13 years, and we made it through all of them. And what a ride it was. We had some great times together. I mean, let's just look back. We had music concerts in elementary school, GVSU in the 5th grade, East Coast trip in 8th grade, our homecomings in high school, sporting events, plays, band concerts, the list goes on and on. All these awesome things we got to experience together. And don't get me wrong, there were the tough times as well, and the things that were just not fun to go through. But you want to know something? I regret none of it. From the good things, to the almost things, to the bad things, none of it. And you know why? Because with those things, I would not be who I am today. I wouldn't have the friends, the relationships, the memories, the lessons, the things that changed my life. And I'm so thankful for that. I'm also thankful for all the teachers, coaches, and family that helped me and gave the opportunity to have an awesome school experience. So there are two things I want to leave everyone here with. And since I have the platform, I'm going to use it. The first thing I want to tell all you is to live a life with live your life to the fullest. Use all the time we are given. We are starting the next part of our lives, and there will be many new things to do and try. And I encourage everyone to find the time to do all of those new things. Go out of your comfort zone. Do something crazy, try new things, and have fun. That way, when you look back at your time after high school, you don't have the thoughts about, man, I wish I would have, or if only I had. Make those choices to do something new, to regret nothing. The second thing that I want to tell you, I think is way more important. I want to tell you all about a promise of a world that could be perfect. A place where there's no crying, no pain, no hurting, no loneliness, no anxiety. All of this through one thing and one thing only. Through believing that Jesus Christ was raised from the dead and putting him in the center of your life. And there's no feeling in the world that is better than the unconditional, all-encompassing love of Christ. He loves each and every one of you so much that he was willing to die and give us a chance to be forgiven of the things we do wrong. More than that, he rose from the dead. He defeated death and gave us the chance of defeating death as well and living in his perfect kingdom. I want to leave everyone here with one of the most comforting things I've ever heard. It's Jesus talking, and he says, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world." Thank you.
Great job, Camden. Next, I would like to introduce the valedictorian for the class of 2022. The 2022 valedictorian is Miss Lauren Riddle. Lauren is the daughter of Larry and Vicki Riddle, and her future plans include majoring in business management at Grand Valley State University, after which she plans to pursue a career in project management. Lauren was a 3-season athlete here at Sparta High School, playing volleyball, bowling, and soccer. She was also a member of the National Honor Society and Student Council. Please join me in congratulating Lauren Riddle.
All right, my speech was not that deep, but that's okay. Hey guys, trust me, I'm just as surprised as you. As I look out at all of you, I see everyone wanting to get out of here and just watch their child walk across stage. So I will make this quick. This is like many of the papers I wrote in high school. My first draft is my final draft. My mom was really into this whole speech thing, while I was just happy with my medal and to call it a day. Due to this, she had a plethora of ideas for me, and the only one I felt I could really do something with was a coherent theme of time. Some people categorize time as 365 days in a year, 7 days a week, 24 hours in a day, 60 minutes in an hour, and 60 seconds in a minute. But ultimately, time is what we make of it. Speaking of time, I practiced this at home, and it was 20 minutes. I'm kidding. It was less than 5 minutes. So if you'd like to use that as a reference of when you can get out of here and get dinner, feel free. Before I start talking too much into the future, I thought it was important to go back in time to 5th grade when we went on a field trip to Grand Valley. I thought of this because I recently went with my mom's 5th grade class, and so many students had their mind made up already that that's where they wanted to go once they graduate. It made me think of when we went, and many of us had similar thoughts to them or only wanted to go swimming. It made me realize how much times have changed, obviously. Now we all have opportunities in front of us and are all embarking on our own journeys. Speaking of the future, as cheesy as it sounds, I know we are all going to do great things later in life with all of the diverse talents we have in our class. It was amazing growing up with all of you and seeing the talents be shown off throughout the years. I cannot wait to see where all of you are in 10 years and how much of an impact you will have on the people around you. Time will tell, but I hope time brings all of you happiness and well-being, but always remembering our roots here in Sparta and the times we had together. We may not have gotten the full high school experience time-wise with the winter fiasco, or otherwise known as the polar vortex freshman year, COVID sophomore year, but I think we all enjoyed getting a 5-month vacation and going online junior year. But now, here we are. I know I speak for the masses when I say I'll take my diploma no matter how much we got cut short. We definitely still made the most of it despite all of the obstacles we faced, and we squeezed everything high school had to offer out of that. But this is our time to shine and make a change. Obviously, we're all going to face challenges in our future, and I think the events of the last 4 years helped us all become a little more flexible and help us learn to overcome more obstacles. Sometimes skills like that are more important than remembering the mitochondria as the powerhouse of the cell, or that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Speaking of, can I see how many of you use these every day? And teachers, that excludes you. What is a speech without a couple thank yous? So I'd like to thank my parents for everything, my brothers for always being there to take the big steps with me along the way, my sister because I can't leave her out, and my friends, peers, and loved ones along the way who helped shape who I am. Congratulations, everyone, and good luck with anything you choose to do next year. Thank you.
Well done. Next, we'd like to welcome to the podium Mr. Pete Bush, Superintendent of Schools, with a message for our seniors.
Good evening. It has certainly been an interesting 4 years. While your freshman year was pretty normal, if you consider a polar vortex and 15 snow days normal, your sophomore year, we all survived Triple E in the fall, but then had the last 3 months of your sophomore year interrupted when the pandemic struck us. Your junior year was a journey in new things like remote learning, social distancing, and mitigation strategies. But you showed you had the ability to adapt, be resilient, and persevere. And thanks to our not-so-good friends, Delta and Omicron, the first half of your senior year was a little bit of a challenge too. The good news is, you've made it. You have shown your mettle. Tonight is more about moving forward than reliving the past. But tonight is also your time to celebrate. That said, you have all probably heard the saying, is your glass half full or half empty? Well, this cliche is about whether you are more of an optimistic or a pessimistic person, which is one of the points I want to make tonight. I also want to use it in the context of bucket filling, something that you may recall from your elementary days. Graduation or commencement is not an end. It is really a beginning, an opportunity to begin again. But while you started kindergarten with a relatively empty glass or bucket, you are not starting from that point again as you move forward. Your glass or bucket has quite a bit in it now. In reality, it is part full, but still part empty. So the question is, how do you best move forward? How do you continue to fill your bucket as well as the buckets of others? My advice for you is to always look for ways to fill buckets or your own glass by focusing on the positive. Be the optimist. Always look for the good in others. Give people the benefit of the doubt. Allow for grace and patience. We all know what the word assume breaks down to, so please do not jump to conclusions about things that may or may not be true. Seek the truth. Never be afraid to question, but also remember to do so in a respectful manner. The golden rule has always been to treat others the way you would like to be treated. it is still a good one to live by. Your attitude or approach to the next phase of your life is critical. Whether you are moving on to college in the fall, a trade school, the military, or to a career, you want to take advantage of that opportunity to continue to learn and grow. We all want to find happiness and to surround ourselves with others that make us feel better about ourselves. Be that person for others. Help others to grow and find happiness. It may not be wise to ignore the elephant in the room, but there are appropriate ways to address it. Be a positive influence on others. Be kind, and model the behaviors that will help others to do the same. So, your glass is half full, maybe even a bit more than that at this time. But there is still plenty of room left to continue to grow and fill it. I am very optimistic about your future. We have witnessed your efforts these past 4 years. We have seen your resiliency. We know that you have persevered through a lot. I do want to apologize to our University of Michigan faithful as I steal a tagline from our Spartan friends at Michigan State. Spartans will. You will always be a Spartan, and we are confident you will be successful as you move forward. I wish the class of 2022 the best of luck in the future. Thank you for all you have done to make our schools and community a better place. Principal Rumsey, I hereby accept the class of 2022, represented by those here this evening, as being eligible to receive a diploma from Sparta High School. Acting on the authority vested in my position as superintendent, I now officially confirm that these individuals have achieved or surpassed all the academic and hourly requirements to be declared graduates. On behalf of the entire Board of Education, faculty, and administration, I offer our congratulations as we begin the presentation of the class of 2022.
To present the class of 2022, Miss Kirsten Clemens and Miss Allie Kampheis.
I think that'll be fine. We're good?
Lauren Catherine Riddle. Camden David Borms. Kaylee Ray Anderson. Jenna May Anderson. Lindsay Marie Del Castillo. Joanna Grace Gare. Clara Louise Janak. Emma Rose Hagler. Andrew Thomas Eiler. Shaylee K. Cutsley. Lance Robert Riddle. Ashley Marie Shue. Sarah Grace Sietzma. Trinity Annalise Scourneck. Taylor Elaine Smith. Grace Kendall Veneman. Samuel Forrest Whitmore. Abby Lynn Wilcox. Hannah Christine Wright. Kyla Alexis Alexander. Ivaletta Faith Andrus. Jose Alvaro Ariano. Jenna Elizabeth Atkinson. Hugo Balderas Rubio. Kylie Renee Bell. Mason Wesley Benaway. Abigail Ray Barenbrock. Allison Ann Barenbrock. Ashley K. Bickzak. Gabriel Lewis Bogart. Brooke Madison Bradford. Evelyn Ann Bremer. Anne Marie Alice Brower. Madeline Ann Brower. Chance Donahue Buchanan. Tyler James Bush. Aiden Henry Byrne. Alexis Caballero Miguel. Ava Lene Case. Brianna Sky Chandler. Hannah Jade Klosser. Autumn Star Cochran. Ashton James Cooper. Ashley Shannon Cowdrey. Alex James Crittenden. Elena Raylene Crothers. Peyton Paige Lucille Dake. Jacob Richard Dame. Garrett Matthew DeGraff. Aaliyah Aaron DeCuber. Melody Jolie Delgado. Moira Ann Beatrice Dodds. Ryan Edward Dykema. Timothy Brian Dykstra. Jacob Daniel Eggerding. Grace Ann Emery. Haley Jean Farr. Danielle Ray Ferguson. Michelle Lily Ann K. Fisher. William Troy Folks. Jason Douglas Overly Franklin. Alexis Sky Fuller. Ray Lynn Gahagan. Hannah Rose Garcia. Caleb John Gartzka. Jocelyn Garza. Juan Raul Garza. Adele Celeste Gauthier. Mimi Jane Geisbeek. Ian Charles Gillespie. Luke Matthew Godleski. Olivia Kristen Gordon. Travis James Hankus. Tyler Ryan Harrison. Cameron Jacob Hartwick. Ethan James Heaven. Fritz Cameron Heinbeck. Matthew J. Hetzel. Marion Marie Hill. Brennan Michael Horrigan. Caleb Sean Itter. Azalea Irene Jackson. Jackson Jeffrey Jones. Wyatt Owen Kasinger. Coit Corbin Keener. Evan Patrick Klein. Hannah Audrey Knowles. Ethan Bradley Kober. Samantha May Koloff. Jaden Richard Cutsley. Caden Michael LaFond. Antonio Joseph Lamancusa. Logan James Landon. Christopher Matthew Landry.
MJ Lynn Larson. Gabriella Elaine Latham. Kyla Nicole Lee. Kyle John Locke. Austin Edward Looney. Travis Ryan Markle. Julie Lynn Marsman. Jordan Elise Mason. Evelyn Rose McNeil. Ethan Lewis Myers. Madison Maisie. Samantha Renee McCula. Alexandria Elizabeth Milcamp. Jacqueline Idalina Mulhawk. Abigail Estrella Monarez. Aaliyah Shea Monaruso. Olivia Rose Montgomery. Alyssa Leslie Murphy. Kat Natali. Elliot Finn Ogg. Blake Ashton Olney. Tyler Dean Ortiz. Emery Robert Osling. Preston Allen Ostrom. Jalissa Padron. Kateri Heather Pant. Haley Noel Peak. Addison Aaron Penland. Brandon White Pyre. Evan Daniel Pori. Benjamin Brent Post. Thomas Charles Postal. Vaughn Raymond Ramos. Ethan Gabriel Rasmussen. Maria Jose Renza. Robert S. Rice. Luke Dylan Rich. Lawrence Dominic Riddle. Caden Christopher Rodriguez. Jamie Marie Retger. Caleb Joel Rowland. Deborah Marie Santos Galarza. Sean Andrew Allen Schaefer. Andrew Scheid. Nicholas Michael Schoonmaker. Clara Marie Shriver. Jacob Sergey Shug. Bryce David Scott. Elijah Guy Serba. Kaylee Ann Scope. Xander Lee Slaughter. Devin Amadeus Eli Jean Smith. Casey Alexander Snowden. Joseph Charles Spears. Caleb the Tank Skohoviak. Devin Derek Stackpole. Dylan David Stackpole. Evan Jacob Steinbacher. Martin Alexander Sternisha. Kendall Joy Stoll. Dylan Charles Tarosky. Bella Grayson Valoni. Colby Andrew Vanderleest. Logan Richard Vandermark. Alex James Vanderwilp. Holly Kristen Van Holstein. Kaylee May Van Acker. Alexander Scott Van Weldy. Carly Nicole Van Wingen. Emily Michelle Vargas. Nicholas Peter Vanecki. Artu Ani Antero Virtanan. Jasmine Jade Walters. Abby Rose Warfield. Hunter Lee Warner. Jack Michael Wildman. Marissa Naomi Wilcox. Amy Ray Wilson. Megan Amer Wilson. Evan Paul Winger. Colton Lawrence Wood. Samuel Joe Mama Woolworth. Dylan Milton Wiley. Jose Daniel Zavala Olivares.
Please join me one more time in congratulating the class of 2022. Seniors, please stand. And if you have your bobby pins, this is time to take them out, so you don't rip your hair out. Class of 2022, thank you for all of the things you've done to make Sparta High School great, not just this year, but the last 13 years that you have been part of our schools. You will be very hard to replace. At this time, you may turn your tassels. Seniors, as you prepare for your recessionals, just remind our families and friends you might meet your seniors in the cafeteria or in front of the school.